If you combine amazing scenery and wildlife with incredible Victorian engineering, you get the living landscape that is the Elan Valley.
The Elan Valley estate is owned by Dŵr Cymru Welsh Water and is the largest single area of land owned by any of the national water companies. For well over 100 years, the watershed area of the reservoirs has been safeguarded, and as a consequence, its wildlife has also been protected. It's become a haven for plants, animals and insects, and today is one of the most important wildlife sites in Wales. The 5 dams and reservoirs were built in 2 phases. Firstly on the Elan River, and later on the Clarion River. The Clarion Reservoir is the biggest in the Elan Valley estate and was finished in 1952. The local geology, combined with high rainfall, means that the surrounding hills act as giant water storage tanks. The Elan River flows into 4 reservoirs, the first of which is Craig Goch. The second in the chain is Penn Agaric. The dams were built between 1893 and 1904. The last 2 reservoirs are Garrick Viaduct and Caban Coch. The reservoirs serve not only the people of Birmingham, but also much of the local area and parts of South Wales. I wanted to know how the owners of the estate felt about their prized possession, so I spoke to Alan Shermer of Welsh Water.
As you can see, we've got some spectacular scenery here, and as a water company, as Dŵr Cymru, we're exceptionally proud to be the owners of this spectacular site. 70 square miles of glorious scenery, great wildlife and brilliant activities. And the Elan Valley is a great example of what we do, not just in terms of water supply, but also in terms of environmental protection.
These wonderful rare birds and plants owe their existence to the dams and reservoirs that protect their habitats. So why did the Victorians choose the Elan Valley in the first place? Well, the geology of the mountains is ideal for water storage, and the narrow nature of the valleys is perfectly suited for dam construction. The Elan Valley also has a high rainfall. On average, nearly 2 metres falls here annually. In addition, the estate is sufficiently higher than Birmingham to allow gravity to transport the water. No pumping system would be needed. Back in the 1800s, people migrated in their thousands to the industrial factories of Birmingham. The city's population explosion gave rise to slums and in turn bad sanitation, which led to typhoid and cholera. With a huge demand for water, a new source of clean water had to be found. Birmingham Corporation came to the Elan Valley in the late 1800s and found the right combination of high rainfall and geology for dams and reservoirs. An Act of Parliament was passed in 1892 and the engineer James Manser was put in charge of construction. Blasting solid foundations from the rocky riverbed, they built 4 concrete and stone dams across the River Elan. 33 miles of newly built railway enabled the smooth running of the construction work. Locomotives moved up to 1,000 tons of rock every day, in addition to the construction equipment and the workforce.
At any one time, as many as 5,000 men worked on the Elan Valley dams, and in total, over 50,000 people were involved in the project.
On the 21st of July 1904, amid great festivities, the 4 dams on the Elan River were officially opened by King Edward VII. 1 week later, water flowed into Franklin Reservoir in Birmingham, supplying the needs of both the people and industry. The 3 dams intended for the Clarion River were never built. In their place, one massive dam was finished in 1952. The Clarion Dam is built of concrete and faced with blocks of dressed stone. And that work was done by Italian stonemasons soon after the Second World War, because all British stonemasons at that time were busy rebuilding the House of Commons. The stone facing on the concrete structure allowed it to harmonise with the older dams on the Elan River.
Whichever way you look, you get a dramatic view. Some people come to enjoy the landscape, tranquility and beauty. Others come to enjoy the estate's diversity of wildlife.
The red kite takes centre stage in the Elan Valley. It's a lovely looking and majestic bird of prey. With its characteristic forked tail, chestnut brown colouring and a wingspan of nearly 2 metres, the red kite is truly an unforgettable sight. It shares the skies with the broad-winged buzzard, which can often be seen soaring on the thermals. If you're lucky, you might see the smaller but very fast and powerful peregrine falcon. But much less common is the rarely seen hen harrier. Look out for it on the moorland. The goshawk is a big, strong bird and about the same size as a buzzard, and a good place to catch sight of the jet black raven is up amongst the craggy rocks. The Garrick Viaduct has a hidden secret. It has a submerged dam that maintains the required water level in the Garrick reservoir during dry spells. Alongside the viaduct is the Voile Tower. Its base is 50 metres higher than the reservoir in Birmingham. This is where the water is taken from the system of reservoirs and flows 73 miles through an aqueduct. Mostly buried underground, the only signs of the aqueduct are the clearings in the trees, small red brick buildings and a series of ornate bridges. After 3 days and only dropping 50 metres in height, the water arrives in Franklin Reservoir to help quench the water needs of the people of Birmingham. To find out more about the water supply, I paid a visit to Penn Agaric Reservoir with Noel Hughes, who is the manager of the Elan Valley Water Treatment Works.
So here we are inside Penn Agaric Dam. Come on, we've gone right to the bottom.
It's a long way down.
It is, there's a lot of steps.
Me first?
Certainly.
Right. Oh, look out. Do you know how many steps there are?
Well, there was 170 at the last count.
Let's hope it's no more than that there. Whoa. So this is it, the base of the dam?
That's right. And just behind that wall there, it's a huge amount of water. But it's just the equivalent of 2 weeks' supply to Birmingham.
That's all it is,
That's right, yeah.
Incredible.
Come and have a look at this. 100 years old, still working as good as the very day they put it in.
I'll tell you what, if I'm that good at 100, I'll be a happy man.
Come and have a look through this door.
What's in here then?
Pop your head and have a look.
Here we go. Wow, just look at that.
There are regular guided tours of the dams, so please ask at the visitor centre for details. Being such a haven for wildlife, it's not surprising that 180 species of birds have been seen in the Elan Valley. Many are found on and around the reservoirs. This is the little grebe. It's pretty, but doesn't have the looks of the great crested grebe. The common sandpiper and also the grey wagtail can be seen. And if you're lucky, you might catch sight of a snipe, along with goosander and the appropriately named goldeneye. The woodlands are home to some wonderful birds, including woodpeckers, warblers, pied flycatchers, coal tits, and many others. This is the short-eared owl, one of 5 species of owl to be found on the estate. At the lower end of the wildlife scale, you'll find a colourful and interesting array of insects, including butterflies like the purple hairstreak, and the common blue, and the cocha-bonded beetle. A recent discovery is the very rare and elusive Welsh clearwing moth. As for plants, if you like bluebells, you'll see a fantastic display in spring, which is followed in early summer by a riot of colour as the wildflower meadows come into bloom. And then when autumn arrives, the hillsides are turned pink and purple with a carpet of heather. Welsh Water may own the Elan Valley, but working in partnership with the Elan Valley Trust and other organisations, they work together to look after the estate and its wildlife. To find out more, I hitched a lift with Ed Parsons, the area lands manager.
You've got a lovely job, Ed. It's incredibly varied.
It is. I really enjoy the variety of the job, and to be able to work in such a fantastic area, I'm very fortunate. And from managing the forestry, recreation, the visitor centre, but also education. That's a key part of what we do at Elan Valley. We welcome over 100 different school and educational groups here each year.
And the forestry, the recreation, canoeing and so on, that's all very visible. There's a lot more going on here too.
It certainly is. Adjacent to each dam, there's a hydro turbine that has been installed, and they've got an installed capacity of 4 megawatts. And they generate 11 million kilowatts of power each year.
That's incredible.
Yeah, very sustainable too.
If you're wondering what to do, just ask the Ranger Service.
Hello, Alan.
Hi, Iolo.
Now, I'm in the Elan Valley for the day. What am I going to do?
Well, Iolo, you are spoiled for choice. There are 70 square miles of estate here, and with it, you've got a variety of walks for all sorts of abilities, and also a variety of cycle routes, again, for all abilities. Now, included in that is the Elan Valley Trail. This used to be the old railway, and now it's a flat level surface for, again, all abilities to experience all the dams and reservoirs in the Elan Valley.
And this includes mountain biking through glorious countryside. You might also like to book yourself in for some kayaking on Caban Coch Reservoir, or have a go on the high ropes course in the trees.
This is incredibly wobbly, but very entertaining.
Alternatively, you may prefer to go on a bird watching safari with a ranger as your guide.
There's a tree creeper up there. Can you see it? It's going up the tree. Lovely birds.
I've seen the Elan Valley develop over the years, and it's still as beautiful as ever. It's well used, it's well looked after, and it's well loved. It really is a living landscape.
And don't forget, if you enjoyed this film, there's a 1-hour DVD available to buy from the visitor centre to take home or to give as a present.